Joining us now is founder of Moms for Liberty, Tina Descovich. Welcome to Greg Kelly Reports and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks for having me.
Do you think this trend will continue? I mean, I feel like just 2 years ago, we weren't hearing so much about this transgender stuff. And now all of a sudden, that's all they want to talk about, the pronouns, the gender, the equity, and all this nonsense. And meanwhile, you've got kids doing holdups, kids doing carjackings, kids that can't read and write, and they're several grades behind. It's complete insanity and chaos.
It's all a distraction to point the direction away from the failing test scores that you opened up this segment with. I mean, the NAEP scores do not lie. The lowest math scores in the history of America, the lowest reading scores since the 1980s. Children are in crisis right now, in a learning crisis. The article that you referenced in the New York Post talks about the loss of monetary value that the children are going to have over their lifetime, but it's actually much worse than that. The children with these types of test scores end up in prison. The left always is saying they're putting in these new policies to stop the school to prison pipeline. But what they've done the last 2 years to children under the direction of the teachers union is actually set up the school to prison pipeline.
We just showed some video there, the kids outside, little children, 4- and 5-year-olds with masks on. I know there's a school in Paterson, New Jersey in the new year. They instituted the mask policy again on the kids. When will this insanity stop? When will we actually focus on teaching our kids what they need to know to pass those scores, to get them through college, and instead of this like woke agenda stuff?
There is hope. I know we look at some of these scores, we look at what's happening. You see from the highest levels of government talking about gender ideology, trying to teach our youngest learners that. But there is hope because parents are taking back public education. You saw it over the last 2 years. You saw school boards all the way up to the federal government identifying parents as domestic terrorists for showing up at school board meetings, trying to open schools. But you saw parents really stepping in, waking up and taking back public education. Our organization, Moms for Liberty, is doing that every day in communities across the country, and we are growing. We're growing in numbers, we're growing in strength, and the more we grow, the more changes you're seeing at local levels. This fight has to be in each community, at each school district, and parents have to do it.
I do think that one of the only pluses that came out of the COVID lockdowns is that parents actually overheard for themselves what their kids were learning and the insanity that was going on. What do you think?
100%. At Moms for Liberty, we like to call it COVID lemonade. It's what we made out of COVID. We learned, parents saw, eyes were open. We worked really hard to shine the light on everything that was happening in public ed. Tiffany and I, the co-founders of Moms for Liberty, we're both former school board members here in Florida. And we like to say that we saw behind the education curtain while we served. And now all of America has seen behind the education curtain. But there's much work to be done. Many people you talk to around America say, oh, but that's not happening in my school district. It absolutely is. It's happening in every school district across the country. They just don't know it yet. So there's a lot of work to be done. We ask that people join us or join a local parents organization in your community and really work. Show up at those school board meetings, look at the agendas, see what's being passed. You'll be shocked at some of the policies.
This goes much further than a drag queen story hour, right?
Yes, ma'am, it does. Yes, ma'am. That's just the circus show out front to look at. The stuff that's going on is much deeper. The policies that have been put in place all across the country. We stopped them here in Florida this last legislative session. Are policies in school districts that actually deceive parents. That guidance counselors and teachers can call a student a new name, a new pronoun, let them use a different bathroom, let them spend the night with the same sex or a different sex in an overnight field trip without parents ever being notified. And so, yeah, there's real problems going on.
Very scary stuff, but thank you so much, Tina Descovich, for shining a light, the truth, and protecting our kids. And that's what we have to do, protect our future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.